This is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
This is huge. It's the biggest game, it's the biggest game I've played in quite some time, so maybe ever. I'm really looking forward to it. I think everyone in the room's looking forward to it, and it's what we wanted, right?
Wait. Was that Jack Eichel that said that? Yeah, it was. Didn't he win a Stanley Cup like just a couple years ago?
I think so.
So he's putting this game against Canada in the Four Nations face-off beyond an opportunity to win the Stanley Cup. Now, I know he didn't explicitly say that, but can we read into that, Jim Toth?
Well, if this is the biggest game he's ever played in, and he's literally been in a Stanley Cup winning game, I guess this is the biggest game. I would think that winning the Stanley Cup is a close second, but
what is going on?
The madness is going on. It is just,
it's taken on a life of its own. This thing is gone. It's gone bananas.
I don't remember the last time I've done a 180 like this, where I just, I've fully been, I was wrong about that, or I mistakenly said this, or I want to correct myself about that. We're going to talk with Adam Lowry today, get his thoughts on this.
Adam Lowry is going to be on the show after 12:30.
But I misread this whole tournament. I was wondering if there'd be hitting, and then I thought, well, there'd be a couple of hits. I don't think Josh Morrissey's going to take out Kyle Connor if there's an open ice hit at center ice or anything like that. Now I think that could happen. It is the intensity of this, and Saturday night, Cam, was, as everybody said, I've never seen a start to any sporting event like that has been that electric, that organic. I mean, I know they talked about it prior to the game, but nothing was staged. You didn't know Hagel was going to say, yep. And then you didn't know that Bennett would be okay. And then you didn't know Colton Parayko, who never fights. The reason he never fights is because he's 7 feet tall and 400 pounds. Well, he's 6'5" and 240.
He's a big man. He's a big boy.
But nobody wants to, it's not that nobody wants to fight him. He's not a fighter, but nobody wants to fight him. And then that happens, and then the hockey settled in. And I thought the U.S. played a fantastic game. I thought I've seen better from Canada. People are going to at me about this, and I'm going to be vilified, but I didn't think Sidney Crosby played very good on Saturday.
I didn't like Nathan McKinnon's game.
I didn't like that line.
I didn't like that line at all.
And I feel confident in saying that because then yesterday's game, those two were magical again, and they came to the forefront. And I think you also understand that, Cam, put how much experience, Stanley Cups, anything you want on this. These guys are just kids. And when the emotion gets to a high fever and high stake, they get nervous like everybody else. It doesn't matter how many Stanley Cups you've been in, how many times. And so I did a 180 on this event. I think it's fantastic. I think it's must-watch TV. And I'll continue to argue that reality TV isn't a dude in a hot tub with 3 women trying to decide which one to date or be in love with for the rest of time. It's not a bunch of housewives from some city.
That hasn't happened to you?
And that's not reality TV. That's produced. This was organic, absolute passion, and it was fantastic to watch, and I cannot wait for Thursday night.
I can't wait either. Saturday was the most exciting hockey has been since 2010.
It's reality.
See, I know that the NHLers were in Sochi, but Canada was so dominant in that tournament, it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to win. It didn't pack the amount of excitement that there was back in 2010. So it's been 15 years since we've seen something like this.
And I'll argue this. There are benefits to international hockey that I like compared to the NHL.
Yeah.
And one of them is how it's officiated. Like, I think they actually call penalties there. And sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But there's also parts of the NHL game that I like more so than the international game. This wouldn't happen in the international game. You would be tossed. 6 players would have been gone 20 seconds into that game. So it's something that, like I say, sports has always been reality TV. It doesn't always deliver. I mean, it delivered Saturday night. It delivered yesterday with some drama as well.
Yeah.
And then now Thursday is, and I'll say this, I was a little annoyed yesterday that we have to wait till Thursday. I was like, they can't play this Wednesday night and get them back to their team Saturday.
The first period was the best period of hockey I've ever seen in my life.
I can't remember a better hockey game.
I can't. And if you have an opinion on a better period, you can text the show 204-780-6868. We're brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. The VIP take on the text line is going to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. And I want to say this too as well. And I know that this doesn't include the chairman of the Winnipeg Jets, Mark Chipman, because he's been for the international game for a while now. But the fact that this has taken so long to happen is, I saw Scott Wheeler with The Athletic, who's their draft and prospects analyst, put out a post on X that I 100% agreed with, that this is a blight on Gary Bettman's resume, his CV or whatever, that he was not able to get this done for years. And it's taken this long. But maybe
it's not a bad take.
And I happen to agree with that. And now I've come a long way on Gary Bettman. I think Gary Bettman has, now that the Winnipeg Jets are back, I think Gary Bettman has done more good for hockey in North America than bad. And I 100% believe that. But you can't sit there and say that was not good for hockey. It was great for the players who are participating. It was great for the NHLPA as a whole. It was great for the National Hockey League. And it was great for the ownership. It was great for every single person that has a stake in hockey in Canada and in North America and in the National Hockey League.
There are people that don't watch hockey.
We need more of this. This is good. Give the fans and the players more of this. And NHL, if you're worried about dollars and injuries and all that, it will all come out in the wash in the end if you keep delivering on stuff like what happened on Saturday. The money will come. You will be paid tenfold in returns if it keeps up and we see more of this. More.
So I just think that, I agree with you. And I think that there's people that don't watch hockey that have by now paid attention to that game Saturday night and will watch on Thursday. And that's growing the game.
Yeah.
It's best on best. It means so much to the players. And that's what I kind of was lost in this. And so I think it's fantastic. The blemish on Gary Bettman that's interesting. Look, you're right. Like, overall, he has helped the game and grown it immensely. We can talk about his blemishes. He's like Kevin Cheveldayoff, right?
Yeah.
He's not perfect.
Yeah. No.
There are people that like, well, what about this? What about that? Fair enough. But the greater picture is there's a lot more good, a lot more than there is bad. But that being said, this has been fantastic. But I also wonder, Cam, so say there was this every 2 years, Olympics, and then 2 years later this and that, I don't think we would have gotten the intensity that we've had. Like, there are players in this game that admit that they didn't think that this might happen.
Yeah. If you had a scheduled, say, Super Series every 2 years between Canada and the United States, and they picked 2 Canadian cities and 2 American cities, and they played 4 games, and they had it out, I think that would be... There, you would see that same level of intensity. I think there'd be anticipation every 2 years or so for something like that.
Not like this. This is part of this. Is it's been 8 or 9 years. This is part of that. It's intense. It's like the Matthew Tkachuk brothers. Like, Brady Tkachuk's been in the NHL for 8 years. He said this is the biggest game of his career.
I don't think
He's
so.
He's never
Jim.
been in the playoffs.
No,
I think if this, 8 years. Say this is his 3rd time playing for the U.S. in this tournament. I don't think we would get the fever that we would.
Well,
it would be intense and much watch viewing, but it wouldn't be this intense.
Well, I don't think you lose anything. Like, let's go to soccer. Soccer has the best international tournaments, bar none, absolutely. You have the Copa America in South America, and hopefully North America stays in there. Canada, they did great showing. You have the Euros, and you have the FIFA World Cup. And then those are just the more popular ones, of course, like Africa has their own and all that. There's the Asia Cup. But anyways, they're huge, huge events. You have them happen every second summer. And I don't think that you lose any intensity by them coming all the time. I think they're always new. I think they're always novel every single opportunity that you can have this level of international sport go on.
So lost in this too is I liked Hagel, and I think he deserves to be on the team. I question the Konecki, the Bennetts, the all this.
The Binningtons.
They've been their best players. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not best players.
Yeah.
Forgive me, not their best players, but the energy players, all that.
Yeah.
Brandon Hagel has been like, he's a Canadian hero now. He drops the gloves, and what did he say in the intermission? He's like, well, he challenged me. I'm not going to back down from that guy. Fast forward to the end of the game where he said, we heard rumblings that they were going to come take our game from us, and there's no way I'm letting that happen. He just landed another beauty 48 minutes ago from Boston. Quote, Brandon Hagel, we're out there playing for the flag, not the camera. We don't have any group chats going on. Referencing that the Chuck brothers going, we had the group chatted up, blah, blah, blah. I mean, these guys dislike each other. And they're going to leave it all on the ice Thursday. I don't think we're going to see the fights that we saw.
No.
Because there's a winning the tournament on the line. But man, some things you can't sort of
you're right. Here's a great text from Joe, and we'll take a break because there's some changes to the U.S. blue line that we'll talk about when we return after the upcoming break here. Joe says, I'm 64 years old. I remember the last game in 1972 Canada-Russia series, and I am as excited about this game coming up as I was about that one. This has the opportunity, Jim, to be one of those classic games that you remember. And it's the Four Nations face-off, and it came out of the clear blue sky, Jim Toth.
There's one problem with Thursday night, and it's the passport of the American goaltender.
Well,
we got to get him dual citizenship.
Adam Lowry will join us right after 12:30, and we'll talk about changes to the United States blue line that is going to have potentially a big impact on Thursday.
It's unbelievable.
Don't go anywhere.
Jets at noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Welcome back. Mike Sullivan on this, an unexpected addition to the Team USA blue line.
Quinn Hughes is coming.
Mike Sullivan also said Charlie McAvoy not available for Thursday's final.
He's a terrific hockey player, and he's a big part of this team. He's played extremely well through this tournament. When you lose players of that caliber, they're not easy to replace. You know, I know from a personal standpoint what this tournament meant to him and how much he was looking forward to playing in this. So, having said that, we have capable people. You know, we have a lot of depth at all the positions. It's going to provide opportunities for others to step up.
It's also his son-in-law.
Yeah, which I found out during
so he knows how
tournament.
personal it meant to Charlie McAvoy. I mean, I don't know if Quinn can play. Like, in order for Harley to play...
No, it'd have to be the same thing. Somebody from the blue line on the United States has to be injured, or he will not be able to go.
But he can just come and in case somebody...
Exactly, yeah. Okay. It's the same rules. It's the same rules as well.
Well, I don't know about if you believe in gamesmanship, but
my leg!
Somebody just came down with the flu.
You
gotta get Hughes in there, don't you?
I think it's broken, Doc. I don't think I can play.
I slipped in the shower!
What are you willing to sacrifice for your nation?
Everything.
We want you.
Well, a couple things. Drew Doughty said today, asked her yesterday on TNT by Paul Bissonnette if he'd be willing to fight on Thursday, and he said, I'll do anything for my country.
Adam Lowry, right here on these airwaves when we return.
A little bit, but not a ton. I mean, I think, listen, there's guys with a lot more goals in the locker room than I have, so, they know what they're doing, and, so I would say just a little bit, but not much. Shot on him basically every day for the last 10 years, and, I don't really have a go-to shot figured out on him. He's an amazing goalie, and, I think it's all the same things you talk about whenever you're playing a great goaltender. I mean, trying to get traffic and get in a goalie's vision, be around the front of the net for rebounds and stuff like that, make it more difficult on him, but he's an amazing goalie and played great against us, last Saturday. So we'll need to do all those things that, like I said, you would try and do with any goalie that's great or playing really well.
That's Josh Morrissey talking about weaknesses, and he's been asked about any tendencies that he showcases for Team Canada, but Morrissey's just like, what can I say? Did you saw that map?
What can I say? I might have to run him.
Did you see?
Did he say that?
Yeah, I don't know if he said that. Did you see that map?
Yeah.
It was like where Canada had their chances in front of the net, and it was just like he just totally snuffed them out.
So we have a text here that says like the second half of the game Saturday was dump and chase and very boring, essentially. Here's the thing. John Cooper addressed this post-game. He said, I know you're all used to 37, 42 shots a night in the NHL. This is best on best. You're not going to get a lot. Every game is going to be 20 to 25 shots. There's only been one game, I believe. Yesterday, I saw the stat, maybe after the end of one of yesterday's game, but prior to yesterday's final day of round robin tournament that had a game that had 30 shots, one of them. Mm-hmm. They're so good. They're so good at defending, at protecting the middle, all that stuff, all four of these teams, that you're just not going to see a lot of shots. And then when Canada did have them, Connor Hellebuck was there.
The Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. The VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. Hey, download the Jets at Noon podcast free now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you find your favorite podcasts, with exclusive Jets talk and content only found there. We talk about our thoughts on fighting and the exclusive content, which you can find on Jets at Noon. Fighting! You can take everywhere and continue the conversation whenever you want.
Little extra.
We caught up to Adam Lowry, who is down at Amazon and their local delivery station here in Winnipeg in support of the Toba Center for Children and Youth. And it was a great conversation, and we have it for you now. Adam Lowry, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Delivery van to the streets. We like it.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing the whole kind of warehouse setup and loading boxes. A lot more went into it than I would have imagined.
We'll get into what you're doing today, but I got to ask first, how you feeling? How's the injury? Are you going to be good to go against St. Louis on Saturday?
I feel good. So I'll be skating with the guys today and hopefully back for Saturday, but we'll see. Sometimes those calls aren't made by the player, but made by the medical staff with our best interests at heart. So I'm hopeful to be back in the lineup on Saturday, but the guys have been playing so well without me that, it's really kind of taken some stress off and trying to rush back and, making sure I'm ready for a long playoff run.
Yeah, Adam, I remember when you came in as a rookie and you had broken your wrist. That's the last time I remember you being injured this long. What has it been like injury-wise for you? And correct me if I'm wrong considering the length of your injury, but then also what's it been like to watch the team?
Yeah, I've had a few ones. There's been a couple of years where I've missed some substantial time earlier in my career, but, I feel like the last 3 years outside of missing games with COVID and then sitting out the last game last year, I've been pretty fortunate to, have avoided some serious injuries or been able to play through some things that, I was able to fix in the summertime. So, it's tough kind of going from playing every day and, playing meaningful minutes to not being able to do a whole lot and, sitting out on the sides. But watching the guys and how they played it's been awesome. I think seeing different guys step up, whether it's David Gustafson, Raz, Fetz has been really hot lately. It's been awesome to watch. I think, over the 8 games that I've missed so far, the way the teams played outside of maybe a period or two, they've been awesome, so sound defensively, the structure, the contributions up and down the lineup. And, it's, makes me feel really optimistic heading down to this final stretch.
What are you up to today, Adam?
Well, I'm down at the Amazon warehouse fulfillment center, and I've got to see the first hand, how they fulfill orders, how they load the vans. First how they sort the carts to get ready to load up the vans. I think, it really blows my mind being here to see how much goes into it, to all the technology they use to sort the packages, kind of to make the routes as efficient as possible. And, it's a van Amazon was making a donation to Toba Center and, making a commitment to the community. So, it was something I was happy to come out to be a part of, and, really, grateful for that partnership and Amazon's, support of the Toba Center and all their great work in our community.
Talk about your experience since you affiliated with Toba Center and became sort of the face of the organization, Adam. You must have, obviously for a great cause, but you must have seen some amazing stories there and the work that's being done.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to have worked with Toba Center for almost 3 years now, and over that time, just hearing stories from Christy and the impact that they're having on children's lives, and them being able to tell their stories and kind of put them on the path to healing. Going through those abuses and those nightmares, I think it's been very rewarding. But to see them grow from their facility on Portage to the one now just by the zoo on Assiniboine Park, and see the growth of the center, see how it's all encompassing, and it's been very rewarding. And then you interact with parents whose kids have gone through the Toba Center, and when you talk to them, and they have tears in their eyes just saying thank you for spending 20 minutes with their son or daughter, and knowing that it's a meaningful impact. It's something that I want to continue doing.
Has it changed you in any way, dealing with this kind of stuff?
Well, I think it's opened my eyes to kind of some of the cruelties in the world. I think child abuse is something that, for me, I was very fortunate. I had a great upbringing. It wasn't something that was at the forefront of my mind, but kind of learning about the center, learning about what some of these children go through, learning about the impact that Toba makes, and kind of how child abuse touches everyone. It's not just a select group of people. I think kind of learning about that visibility, I think, the more you learn about the impact and the positive stories coming out of Toba and, the kids' resiliency, it makes you want to do more, makes you want to make a bigger impact and, help affect children's lives in a positive way as much as you can.
You mentioned you were with the Amazon tour and seeing some of the behind the scenes because they made a big donation. How can other people help Toba Center?
Well, I think, first and foremost, visibility matters. Following them on Instagram, Twitter, Toba Center. Visit their website, tobacenter.ca. People can make donations. People can figure out how they can, volunteer their time, or, I think just keeping the conversation going around child abuse is so critical. Making the resources known to children or, adults who maybe have had a kid tell their story to them, and, the proper avenues you can go. I think, for example, Generate Cakes, Ashley and Jenna were out here today for the tour and stuff, and they've gotten involved not only making cupcakes and things, but donating stuff and cakes and things like that to the center for kids' birthdays and stuff. So there's a lot of different ways that people can get involved, and it certainly doesn't just have to be through donations, but I think just the visibility, reposting things for them certainly helps.
What's it going to be like? It'll be 14 days between games, longer for you if you can go on Saturday. What's it going to be like having all that time in between games? Is it too long of a break, Adam?
Well, some guys are probably dealing with sunburns today when we get back on the ice. So, maybe a couple extra days of practice are good for us. But it is a long break. I think, it certainly condensed the schedule and made it feel like a bit of a whirlwind. But at the same time, the Four Nations has been awesome to watch. That Canada-U.S. game, I don't think we can say enough about, the conversations, the excitement that's sparked about international hockey again. And, the break is long, but, it's nice to get a mental reset going into that stretch run and hopefully a long playoff run. And, with the way the break's structured, it allows us some practice time coming out of it so that, hopefully the play Saturday night's not as sloppy as, after some bye weeks or all-star games where you have 5 days off, you have one practice or a morning skate, and you go again.
The Canada-U.S. game, I'm on the couch with my 4-year-old. My 12-year-old's beside me, and I tell the 4-year-old, you can watch 10 minutes, then it's bedtime. 12-year-old's all amped up, and within 2 minutes, they're in front of me fighting with their mini sticks and wanting a fourth fight. I can't imagine what it was like for you to watch that, Adam. What'd you make of the game against the U.S., and how into this tournament have you been? I know you went away for a bit too, but what'd you make of Saturday's game, and how into this tournament are you?
Yeah, I'm just a fan of hockey, so I've been following the tournament, and obviously having some teammates in it, I've tried to watch their games and tried to see how they're doing. But that Canada-U.S. game was awesome to watch. I think the rivalry, the hatred in the game, the start of the game. I think what was so great about it is it didn't seem like it was staged, or it kind of happened organically. One fight after another, and then I thought it was a really well played game. Obviously, I'd prefer if Helly was Canadian and playing for Team Canada.
Me too.
That's how some teams must feel. Playing against us, they get so many grade A chances, and he makes it look so easy. But the tournament's been great. I think that rivalry game coming on Thursday is going to be awesome. I'm excited to watch that one too.
Yeah, Cam texted me as well and wanted to fight me that night. He's like, let's go. Let's do this. And I was like, take it easy,
You guys
buddy.
need to throw some sock and boppers on and get at it in the studio.
What are those Hulk hands or whatever? That's more like it.
Exactly. Is this one final one for you? Is this tournament what you kind of expected? I think fans and media were wondering, like, All-Star break, and it's just 4 teams. And I took a total 180. And, when you talk to Josh and Kyle and Connor, and you hear about what this means to them and how you as a PA, sort of, for lack of a better term, fight to get this tournament in and the Olympics. I think it surprised a lot of people over the quality of hockey, but just how much it means to the players. Like, we lost that perspective a bit, I think, as fans and media.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't expect it to be as physical or violent as that Canada-U.S. game. Obviously, when you get the best players in the world competing, we're all competitive. We all want to win, but I think it's really blown my expectations out of the water. The games outside of the U.S.-Finland game, which was close until the U.S. scored a couple of goals, I think it was 11, 12 seconds apart. They've all been really competitive, good finishes, good quality hockey. And, I think when you have as many good players on one team, just hockey's a beautiful game to watch like that. Watching McDavid come down the middle, off a great breakout pass and unfortunately score on Helly. But, some of the goals McKinnon scored, the speed that those guys are able to play at together, watching kind of Team USA and how they defended. And, you see some of these highly skilled players put in different roles and, how they're able to adapt and stuff. I think it's been an awesome tournament. It's been a great introduction into what international hockey will be like at the Olympics next year.
Trade deadline fast approaching. How do you feel about big additions? What would you like the general manager to be up to leading up to it?
You know what? Honestly, that's out of my hands. I think my job and our job is to come to the rink and prepare as much as we can to give ourselves the best chance to win, to help our team. And we've done our great job so far this year in putting ourselves in a position to be successful in the playoffs and the way the team's made up, the way the team plays. Obviously you would hope that you've done enough that if there's an opportunity that makes sense that maybe you can add, but at the same time, and I think that's something as a player, it's not necessarily at the forefront of your mind. I think, we're more focused on kind of building and, continuing the success we've had so far.
Captain,
finally, you're saying there's a chance for Saturday. We appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. It was nice talking to you, fellas.
Yeah, Adam, thanks so much,
Adam.
and appreciate all the great work you do also in the community with the Toba Center. Really, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. And the Toba Center, of course, really, as he said, like, normal childhood growing up. We all know a hockey childhood, but what the Toba Center does, and hearing somebody like Adam speak to how much it affects. I mean, everybody hears these stories of abuse and they're horrific. So if you can, by all means, search out Toba Center. As he said, just keep the conversation going, support them online, social media, of course, but there's other ways as well. If you check them out, we highly encourage you to do so.
Yeah, great stuff there from Adam. Again, appreciate him sitting down. And anything stand out from that conversation we had with him earlier today?
Well, there's a chance, and he's not going to tell us anything. We asked him for the second time, and that's when he's like, nice talking to you, fellas. Nothing ends a conversation faster with a hockey player than, are you healthy?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I first of all, what Toba Center does, and just some really tragic stories that come through there. So for him to lend his name and all the great work they do there. The second one is just how it surprised him, the Four Nations as well as us, just the quality of play and how intense it is. And I mean, that's a guy that had a potential to make the team or be there. And now he's talking about how surprised he even is by how great the hockey is and how intense it is.
We'll be right back.
Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
The Jets are going to start practicing tomorrow. Kelly Moore is going to be joining us. He's done a lot of looking into the power play. And so we're going to have a lot of great power play stats tomorrow from Kelly Moore's.
How it's wide, where it ranks, all that stuff, how it's working, what's working so well. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, so am I. 204-780-6860. We gave away our VIP car wash from 690 St. Anne's Road with Wash Method. Got to give it to Joseph, 64 years old. Earlier on the show, we read the text message. He remembers the last game in 72, Canada-Russia series. I'm as excited about this game coming up as I was about that one. That one, Joseph.
Attaboy,
car
Joe.
wash from our good friends at Wash Method. Hey, call the Jets at noon hockey hotline. It's open 24/7, 204-780-6800.
We're everywhere now. We have social media. We got X.
Yeah.
Jets at Noon, at Jets at Noon. Give that a follow on X.
Yeah.
At Jets at Noon.
Yeah. We're working on some other things too.
X needs some positivity.
If you
and we're nothing but positive.
If you know what too, and if you do some digging, you might find some stuff that we're going to be announcing over the next little bit.
As Frank Costanza said, we're going to be all over the shuffleboard.
If you dig in certain places, you can find some stuff, some secrets that we're going to be unveiling.
You think you can keep us off social media?
Very soon.
We're going to be
to the detriment of my... I've been pulling my hair out for weeks.
At the tennis courts.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey Fortier, for
producing
the show.
The shuffleboard.
See ya.